Good morning and welcome to Exploring Hyperspace Lanes. I'm Adam,
And I'm Josie.
and we're going to try to stick to a schedule
Okay.
because well, not just for today's episode because Josie has to leave, but also because we did another 3 weeks without an episode again. And the
Mhm.
last episode was called We're Back and We're Not going to Skip Again.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's really funny. Why would you
Um,
put that?
but I didn't think we were going to go another 3 weeks without an episode. Um,
Uh, you jinxed it.
yeah, I understand that, and I think it's funnier that we did that. Um, But the Hugo Award nominations are out.
I don't know what that is.
The Hugo Awards are like the Oscars or the Pulitzers. Or they it's a specific to the science fiction genre, science fiction fantasy genre awards for all media. So it's books, TV, movies, anything.
Okay.
We didn't get nominated
Okay.
because there is a podcast section,
Okay.
and this is a science fiction podcast.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah,
Is that what
so
you want? Okay.
but on the plus side, we have never lost the award. We're like the Detroit Lions in that regard, where the Detroit Lions have never lost a Super Bowl. They've never made it to the Super
Um,
Bowl, but they've never
okay.
lost a Super Bowl either.
Okay.
So we're
See,
gonna look at this
there. Good
optimistically.
job with the positivity.
Yeah, so we haven't lost. So good for us. We didn't lose the award. Um, but Star Wars did get nominated, but I don't think they're gonna win.
Okay.
Andor, the show that you hated, got nominated for two
I didn't
episodes got
hate it.
nominated.
It just wasn't my thing.
Two episodes got nominated for best short format, dramatic something or other, and it was the episodes One Way Out and Rick's Road from Andor. Both got nominated for that category.
Okay.
Um, One Way Out being the episode where they break out of the prison, and Rick's Road being the finale. Um, so I know you didn't care for Andor, but I think the issue with Andor is there are easily three other episodes that you can put up there and be like these were worthy of being nominated. Um, and I think that because there are two episodes from the same show, I think neither episode wins.
Okay.
Because I think it's like an Oscars kind of thing where it's like they tend to split the vote when that happens. Not always. I mean,
Hmm.
Jamie Lee Curtis won Best Supporting Actress for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Stephanie Sue was also nominated in the same category for the same movie. So it's not a guarantee that happens, but also in the same breath, Brendan Gleeson and Barry Keoghan were both nominated for Banshees of Inisherin for Best Supporting Actor, and neither of them ended up winning. So it could go either way. Um, but I don't think that it's likely. I think The Expanse probably takes it home, and I think part of it also comes from the voting body of Worldcon is probably going to be more likely to award The Expanse than it is Star Wars, if I were to venture a guess. Um, so that's
You're
cool.
breaking up a lot.
Am I? Um,
Yeah.
did you have torrential rains down there or up there?
I did. It's
Yeah,
hot. It's hot
it has been
and
ungodly hot
it's
for like a
humid
fucking week.
and it's gross.
Yeah, we had torrential downpours this morning. My initial parking spot where I usually go to do this show was flooded over, so I went near it, and it was lakefront property because the parking lot was a lake, like a literal lake that like is like
Oh, that's
shin deep
funny.
water. So I'm sitting
Yeah.
there and I'm setting up, and I was getting ready to open my laptop, and this guy in like a Honda Civic um whips into the parking lot and goes right into it, and it is up above his grill. And I'm like, this is the funniest thing I have ever seen. Because he just destroyed his
That's
car
funny.
driving into this. And he
That's
shouldn't have done that either.
horrible.
Well, no, but he shouldn't have. He's trying to cut across the parking lot in a way he's not supposed to.
Like,
If you fuck up your car doing something you're not supposed to
You
do,
are breaking up really badly.
am I? If you fuck up your car doing something you're
Yeah.
not supposed to do, hang on, let me try this real quick. Let's see if I can piggyback off Walmart's Wi-Fi. But if you fuck up your car doing something you're not supposed to do, I have no sympathy for you. It is entirely on you. No, I can't entirely have to deal with this. Yeah, now it's fixed. Okay. Um,
You don't need to have sympathy.
no, exactly. It's like if you do something stupid, it's on you. You deserve what happened to you.
Hmm.
Um, but
So what's next on our agenda?
I think well we
'Cause we
are.
have an agenda today,
What
right?
time? What time do you about have to leave, give or take?
I have to leave just before. I have to leave before 1, and I need a little bit of time before then.
So
So
12:45.
before 1.
That's okay. But you said
12:45, 12:50.
okay. So let's just go right into our topic of the day, which is Thrawn Treason, the third and final
Okay.
of Timothy Zahn's Thrawn books that take place before Rebels, or I think this one takes place concurrent with Rebels, or immediately before his arrival
It has
in
been a while
Rebels.
since we've talked about the books in this series. Can
Yes.
we do a recap of where they landed on our list?
Yes, let me pull the list up real quick. This is not
We
this is
don't need
I
like a
think
whole list recap. I just want to know what number they landed at.
right, no, I know I'm pulling the list up, but I don't
Our
think
list's
this
getting a
is
little too long to go through the whole thing.
yeah, we are gonna have to like circumcise the list at some point. Um I wanted to see how long it would take for you to realize what I said.
Just pick and choose when we want to.
So right now, oh, I don't want to be the guinea pig for that. So for books so far, we have
For circumcision?
no. Um, the two Thrawn books are the lowest of what we've done so far. Because in terms of books, I have individual
They're on the
rankings for each
lowest.
category. Yeah.
These are not, this is not my favorite series.
No,
It's
I think a lot
really
of that
difficult
comes
to get
from
through. The last book was the one where it was like awkward. The last book in the series is probably one of the better of them. But it's still not like, oh man, you really need to take the time to listen to this. You don't have to. It's okay.
and I think the issue is when we talked about Thrawn a few months back, the first Thrawn book, um, we talked. I mentioned that like it's very much an immigrant story. It's the story of someone who is not like everyone else, coming from somewhere he's not familiar, having to learn their customs, and having to show up and become the best at what he's doing, better than what everyone else can, who's been doing it for years. And that would be fine if it weren't he's trying to become the best admiral of the fucking empire. It just makes it kind of weird to put it in that
Hmm.
frame. Um, and then the
I
other
mean, it's
issue
not.
is
I guess so. Because in other Thrawn series, it's really more about Thrawn sticking to his morals and the preemptive strike, and is it morally correct to do,
see, and that's the thing too. Is I wish that they had gotten into that a little bit more,
right?
where they could have done that. Where it's like in alliances, they do kind of touch on that, where there is that difference between him and Vader, where Vader is very much stormtroopers are
Hmm.
expendable. I don't care, let them die. That's their job. Their job is to die. Thrawn's
Right.
like, no, 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 hold on, let's not do that because we do still need the army for stuff. Like, and he does have a more compassionate approach to his troops.
Hmm.
Again, the problem is he's in the Empire. And I think the other issue with these books is that they outline Thrawn's biggest weakness as his inability
Why is it a
to
problem that he's in the Empire?
because to juxtapose that and then have it be he's in the what is ostensibly the antagonistic force for the majority of the Skywalker or the entirety of the Skywalker saga basically, and it's just
Like
he
we're not
he is he's
supposed to
being
have the
used.
compassion and understanding, or
No, he is, but it's just weird to have that and then have him be. Okay, and then this is still a tool for oppression.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, the Empire is an oppressive force. So to have him go through all that and then he's just gonna be a tool for the oppression feels very weird.
Hmm. Okay.
Um, and then on top of that too, there is the whole thing with Thrawn has no weaknesses in any of these books, the early books. In
What do you
or
mean?
well, in the original series, Heir to the Empire, um, Thrawn's
He
doesn't really,
absolutely does have a weakness. He has a physical weakness where he gets his ass kicked in the first book.
okay, but that's not something that he has. His biggest weakness, quote unquote weakness, through this and even through Ascendancy, which we didn't talk about yet, but through both of those, his biggest weakness is he cannot navigate political issues. He's a brilliant strategist, but he can't navigate the politics. The interpersonal relationships are where it is. He's kind of autistic to an extent. Um, and like that's how they portray his biggest weakness in all of
Okay.
these books. But the issue is that never comes back to bite him in any way. Because like we talked about with the first Thrawn book, where it's like he we meet him and he immediately talks his way into the Emperor's chamber within 3 chapters, and then talks the Emperor into letting him be in his what's it called, be in the military and join the academy.
I
Like
don't know what you're talking about him not being able to or um operate politically.
like
Like he's just not in the politics, but he certainly knows how to manipulate and be a politician.
no, that they've always said through this, and it's more highlighted in Ascendancy. He isn't good at navigating the intricacies of the higher level governmental operations. He is a blunt instrument that can be wielded, but he can't like Vader can deal with the varying alliances and the varying motivations of all the other higher ups. Like he can deal with Krennic, he can deal with Tarkin, he can deal with all of these other people who have varying loyalties, varying aspirations that all may not line
But
up
I don't think
100%.
that they show him not being able to do it. I think it's
That's
more
the problem.
of a his choice sort of thing.
No, no, that's the problem though, is that
Like when he does choose to do it, he's very politically savvy when he chooses to. It's just that that's not what he wants to do. He wants to be a good admiral.
no, but they make a point of it several times over where it's like he does things that it's like you shouldn't do that. That's not a good decision to make.
How?
Um, there was like most of it comes from Ascendancy is the problem, where he's navigating the multiple houses of the Chiss Ascendancy, where it's like doing things for House Myth is
I think they
not
show him doing things he knows that it's wrong. He just chooses not to.
right. That's the
Like he
problem,
knows
is that there
what
is
the
a
right
political.
political moves are. He just chooses not to. Not that it's that he doesn't have the capability.
No, I don't think
Because
it's
in
that
the
he.
few
I don't think
times
it's that he doesn't. I
where
don't
he
think it's there's a
chooses
difference between
to,
capability and
he's
tact.
very capable.
Like there's a difference between capability and tact, and I'm not saying he's incapable. It's that he has his motivations, and that supersedes what is the tactful thing to do in a situation. It works out for him in the end every time, and that's the problem.
I I don't think he's always I think he's always tactful.
I don't think I disagree on that. I think that he has
Like that's
a.
his whole character.
I mean, tactful in so much as taking into consideration other people on his own side.
Yes.
I don't
I
know.
think that
I
he's
think we're just
very
gonna
tactful
disagree on
in
this.
those choices.
I think we're gonna disagree on this.
I think that's his whole character. Okay.
I don't know. I disagree on. I think that because that's the thing is that is historically the way they have portrayed Thrawn as having a weakness is he can't navigate
I just don't
politics. He's not a
see where
politician.
they've done that though.
And that's the problem. That's the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to
That
make is
he is
that
not a politician, but I think it's not because he
he
can't. I think he shows that he can on multiple occasions. He just
see
example book one where he gets beat up by those guys and then gets them sent away and manipulates the whole situation to work out very tactfully to his advantage to everyone who is left, the officers that went away, the officer who's in front, who's like overseeing the whole situation.
No, I
And I
think
think
that
he's a tactician. That's like his whole thing.
I think we're saying basically the same thing, but we're coming at it from two different angles. Where what I'm saying, there's a rule: show don't tell. You've heard that before, right? Show don't tell. It's better to show the audience something, or show the reader something, or show the viewer something, than it is to tell them something is the case. The issue with the Thrawn books is that characters will tell us multiple times over Thrawn is not good with like that's a line that is repeated. Thrawn's not good with politics. Thrawn's not a politician. Thrawn's not good
When
at
is
this.
that? When is that ever repeated or said?
Thrawn is
I
not
think you're making shit up.
I don't think I'm making that.
Oh,
Thrawn is not a politician. Okay, so I found an answer.
No, it's true. He's an admiral. But I think he has the capabilities to be tactful in politics to get the things that he wants. Because how else do you get things that you want? I mean, if you're in a government entity and you want shit, you have to be tactful and be your politician somewhat of yourself to get those things.
Hang on. I think I'm looking for something right now. Thrawn isn't befuddled. He has a longer plan than the Empire. This is from someone on Reddit. Oh, my page just crashed.
Oh, you found it from a random person on Reddit.
Well, hang on. Let's go to
to support your theory.
Hang on. Hang on.
That's not biased.
Hang on. Thrawn makes the assumption that his allies will all work together, focus all their energies on defeating the enemy as logic would dictate. However, as a logical and honorable warrior, he does not take greed into consideration, so the political landscape does not make sense to him, which is kind of the way it is. Like by the time we get to Thrawn Treason at this, and again, a lot of this comes from those 3 prequel books that take place during the era of the Clone Wars, not here. They're prequels to these books, Ascendancy, which is Thrawn's time in the Ascendancy. His thing is he is a warrior whose entire thing is I'm going to look at everything and I'm going to look at what's best for the Ascendancy in the long term. I don't take into consideration nepotism. I don't take into consideration personal greed or anything like that. That's not what I do. And that's something that's laid out over most of these books, where it's like he is there for his goals go beyond the personal. But the issue is that it is said repeatedly over those books, Thrawn can't navigate the intricacies of the house system and like the merit adoptives.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
He completely understands it, but he doesn't. He chooses not to. He chooses to go against it. He understands it, but he chooses to go in a different direction. It's laid out that he understands his consequences. He understands what it's going to mean and how it's going to affect the people around him and how it's going to affect the political situation. But then he actively says, I don't give a shit, and does what he wants.
Okay, here's the follow-up
question. Because he
then.
thinks that his result is going to be better.
Here's the follow-up question then. Aside from getting his ass kicked in the first book, what is Thrawn's weakness?
Well, it's unfortunate, but his status as an immigrant or an alien is considered a weakness in his position in the Empire.
But no, because he's a Grand Admiral. He's of the highest ranking you can have in the Imperial Navy.
Right, but he's still an alien.
But
and the Empire is entirely against aliens.
Once you get
and
past
thinks
the
of them
first
as lower
book,
and lesser people.
Once you get past the first book, that's not really mentioned again. If they don't say Thrawn is blue and has red glowing eyes, you wouldn't know Thrawn wasn't a human. Because he's not treated any differently past the first book.
No, he is.
When's he treated differently?
So he in the second book they talk about how they take things away from him because of his status and who he is and stuff. I can't really
When
remember what happens in the third book. I think that shows you how memorable it is, but
the third book is I think the best of the three, and I think that entirely comes from Krennic being there because Krennic is such a great character. I wish they did more with him. Um,
like they take away, don't they take away his ship at one point or something?
no, he got Vader up his ass, but I don't think that's to do with
Yes.
anything specific.
No, but they got his they he had to give up his ship.
Not in the third one, not in the second one. He wasn't on
What
the.
was that in
They
the
were.
third
They
one then?
were. No, because in both, in maybe in the first one, but in both the second and the third, he's on the Chimera,
Hmm.
and he has the Chimera until he gets killed, quote unquote, and then he gets sent off into deep space, and then he comes back in Ahsoka, presumably again with the Chimera
It's definitely mentioned, and just I don't have a specific thing, but it is definitely mentioned,
in the first book.
like
It's
a lot.
definitely a problem in the first book that he has to deal
There
with.
are hints at it in the second book as well. I have no idea what happens in the third, so I can't even talk about it. But they definitely talk about it and hint at it in the second book. Like he has consequences that other folks probably wouldn't have. But then he gets out of those consequences because the Emperor is buddy pals with him and thinks he's awesome.
Right, but then there is okay, so then that's not a hindrance. If he has that where it's like he's being dealt with differently by the Imperial Navy, but the head of the Navy is like, yeah, but we're cool, so you don't have to deal with that problem.
But
Then
they
that,
he doesn't always but it doesn't always go like it doesn't always make its way to the Emperor.
but like the thing, okay, so his his
They mention
weakness,
it.
the issue I have is that he doesn't have a weakness or some kind of thing. He is the epitome of a character who has zero downside to anything he's doing. The only thing is, for whatever reason, characters continue to doubt him, and they don't give a reason why they continue to doubt him over and over again. It's like especially if he's doing like the example I think of is like they're he is, and I think that this book kind of starts out with him being demoted a little bit because it's like go figure out what's happening with these they're not Minox but they're a stage higher than Minox. Um, what the fuck?
He gets himself into trouble a lot because he's always wanting to fight.
But but the thing is, it's like he's willing to use force, but he's not willing to. And I think it's too. It's like if he's a Grand Admiral, does he have other ships?
He has ethics in one of the Thrawn series, and that he is a whole there's like a whole conversation that he has where he talks about is my ethical dilemma towards um uh what's it called? Striking first. What's help me?
What, like attacking someone, attacking
The striking
unprovoked?
first.
Yeah, attacking
Uh
unprovoked.
yes. To prevent future, yeah, attacking unprovoked. How his ethics in those situations are they considered a weakness? He has like a
And
whole conversation about it.
but at the end of the day, that's not a weakness. That's a character. You know, that's a character
But he
point.
gets himself into trouble a lot because he's always fighting.
But he never. There's
Like he
never a
likes to fight
lasting
too
impact
much.
of it to the point where he has to do something else to figure that out.
Is there ever a lasting impact for any of these characters?
I mean, characters lose limbs on a fairly regular
For their
basis.
weaknesses?
Characters die on a fairly regular basis in these,
For like 2 seconds, and then they get new and then they get a new limb.
or they die. With the exception of Rey,
Okay.
no character has been
All right.
resurrected.
So the problem with Thrawn is that he hasn't died yet?
No, the problem with Thrawn is that there's never a point where there's any real peril felt for Thrawn. And I get that part of it comes from this is an interquel set between his introduction and where we know his character is going. Like you inherently can't kill or put a character you can't put the character in any real mortal peril at that point.
No, and I mean his I mean you can't because you don't think he's got other shit he's got to do. So it's really more just a building of the character's background and why he's considered so esteemed
But the thing is too,
and
it's
his
like
and in like the
I
origin.
did find an example of where the politics didn't bite him when it should have. He is openly contrary to the Emperor throughout this book.
Is he?
Yes, because his entire thing is I do not want to put the resources into the Death Star. That is a waste of resources, it is a waste of money,
Oh, okay.
it is a waste of all of that. That is not a good use of time, resources, or anything. His
Hmm.
plan that he wanted to do instead is the TIE Defender program. And it's
Mm-hmm.
here and it's in Rebels, where it's the TIE Defender is a TIE fighter that instead of having the two wings like this, it's got like
Because he thinks
three.
it's more tactically he thinks
It's
it's
more,
more tactical.
and he's not wrong either because it's a TIE fighter with shields and with hyperdrive.
Oh, okay.
So it's like these things actually do have a tactical purpose that
And
would,
nobody listened to him because he's an alien.
right. But what's the downside to that for him?
For him,
He has no downside
he
to
didn't
that.
get listened to.
Okay. I don't get listened to on
Okay,
a
that's
regular
like
basis
what
at work.
happens.
Like I don't get listened to
And
on a
doesn't
regular
that
basis.
suck for you? I don't know.
Yeah, but it's not a
What do you want
downside.
to happen?
Like I
What's
want
the
him I
downside?
want Thrawn to at some point in any of these books make a decision that he thinks is right, but it's wrong.
He does.
When?
Oh, I guess not in this series.
No, of the he has been in Thrawn himself has been in 9 books. Because it's Thrawn Ascendancy, that trilogy.
He killed like a whole
Thrawn,
bunch of Jedi.
right, but
He was
that
never held like accountable for it, but
that's see and that's the thing. But and the thing is too, he's not doing something wrong that's going to bite him. He until the very end of the Heir to
mm,
the Empire trilogy, he doesn't make a mistake. And that's the problem, is that in these
okay.
books, he is such a great tactician in these books that we never feel a sense of, oh, he could fuck up and this could be wrong. And it
Hmm.
makes it boring to read. That's the issue with all 3 of these books, is that because we know that Thrawn doesn't make mistakes, it's just, okay, so he's in no peril at all. There's
Okay.
not even like the
I think that's a decent explanation because I agree that these are boring to read. Like these are not my favorite. I like the Thrawn character,
mhm.
but these are not my favorite Thrawn books.
And I
I
think
do
the thing is
not
too,
this
the
this series is very difficult to get through.
the only thing that's interesting, and I think that
It's like
Zahn
it's
has a real
not
gift for
fun.
it. Zahn is really good at writing naval space battles,
Yeah, I agree.
but
That's the
besides
only
that,
parts that are fun.
yeah, but like because you know that Thrawn doesn't make mistakes, not even the fact that Thrawn's in Rebels, which takes place after this, ignoring all of
It's more
that.
like how it does feel like a lot of like ego the way this one is written. It's like a lot of this whole series is written as like a lot of ego stroking
Yes,
where
and it's
you
like
almost
look at
can
how great
see
Thrawn is.
um Zahn being saying, "Yes, look how great Thrawn is, and look how smart I am that
And
I can come
that's
up
the
with this
problem.
amazing convoluted plan that twists all this stuff to make it perfect because I'm so smart. Because these are the things I would notice." And you really see that um in these three more than any of the other ones
Mhm.
about Thrawn, where Zahn just is stroking his own ego the whole time.
And the thing is, that's why I like Thrawn in the first 3 books in Heir to the Empire. I think he works there, and he also works very well again
Mm-hmm.
in Rebels because in Rebels he
No, I
is
agree.
he doesn't make a ton of mistakes, but he makes enough. And the mistakes that he makes are not
Mm-hmm.
things that he should have thought about. It's all like he had no way of seeing that coming.
Mm-hmm.
But at no point in this is there ever like a moment where Thrawn's like, "Oh shit, why did I not think of that?"
Hmm.
Like he never
You're
makes
right.
a
He
mistake.
sees everything.
Yeah,
He sees
it's the difference.
everything.
It's like, and I think I brought this up before when we talked about the first Thrawn book, where it's like if it's written well, it's very good. When it's written poorly, you can have a character who's omniscient to the point where it feels like they just have the script in front of them and they know what's coming. Because
Agreed.
there was
That's what this one is.
on the Flash, they did Brainiac in season 4, and he
Mm-hmm.
knows shit that he has no way of knowing. And it's just, oh, he's super smart. That's
Mm-hmm.
how he knows. But it's like, how would he know that in an alternate reality, there is an alternate version of Laurel Lance who didn't die, got real superpowers, and would somehow make her way to Earth 1? He has no way of knowing that. Yet he does, and his plan is hinged on that. And it's like, but what the
Mm-hmm.
fuck? Like,
Okay.
it's just kind of a thing that's like it doesn't work when it's done poorly, and that's I think the key issue with these, you know, with these books. And we're running out of time. Um, so where we want to
Mm-hmm.
rank
So
this
where do you
one,
rank this?
I would say I don't. So in terms of
I
the
could put it
overall,
underneath. Um, it has to go at least under the second book in this series.
so you say it's worse than Alliances.
Yeah.
I
I don't
don't.
even really remember what the fudge happens, and I
I
know I
don't.
just read it, so
I don't think I don't think it's
like
worse
that's
than
how
Alliances.
unmemorable and boring it is.
I don't think it's worse than Alliances for no other
You
reason
okay?
than it's not a tie-in book to sell tickets
Then
to
under
Galaxy's
book
Edge.
one.
Okay. Um, so for the overall ranking, do you think
Okay.
it's better or worse than the Bad Batch?
Worse.
Do you think it's worse than Andor?
Are we going? Where are things on the list?
Hang on, let me show you. Let me screen share so you can just see.
It's hard when I can't see the list. I'm a visual
Let
person.
me just screen share it then. Here you go. Can you see? So what I did was I put it
Mm-hmm.
right. So right here is what we're looking at. So we have Thrawn.
So
In the bottom 10, or number 9, we have Thrawn. Number 10, we have the Bad Batch season 1. Number 11, we have the Bad Batch season 2. Number 12, we have Andor. Number 13, we have Attack of the Clones. Number 14, we have Mandalorian season 1. Number 15, we have Phantom Menace. Number 16, we have Thrawn
see, this is why I
Alliances.
get confused.
Why?
Okay, this is so you think it's better than alliances or worse than
I think it's better
alliances?
than Alliances purely because number 1, I like Krennic, and number 2, I like that it's not just a Galaxy's Edge tie-in.
Okay. Do
And
you
it doesn't
think
have that double
it's
vision bullshit.
do you think it's below or above Mandalorian season one?
Below.
Okay, then why you have me up so high in the list? Better below Phantom Menace. I think it's below.
I do too. I think that this whole,
Then
like,
let's put it there at spot
number
16,
16.
and then Thrawn
So,
Alliances becomes spot 17.
okay, so let me go to the
Why'd you
calendar
jump so high up into the
because you said it was you because I
thing?
put it because Thrawn is right here, so I put it based on where Thrawn is.
Oh, got you.
Yeah,
Okay, it made sense then.
yeah,
It's just hard when I couldn't see it.
yeah. So let me go back to the calendar so that way we
Okay.
can just do the announcement for the next few weeks. Please hold. Okay, so the next episode we're gonna do is Mandalorian season 2, then The Force Unleashed 1 and 2, then Revenge of the Sith, then Heir to the Empire.
Sounds good.
So I want to try and
Hmm.
tie it in with Ahsoka, because Ahsoka will be coming out soon.
Okay,
Okay, so
that's
we will wrap up
exciting.
there for today,
Are
and
you
until
excited about that?
oh, I am. I'm very much into that show.
That will be good.
But as much as I don't like this
All right.
Thrawn trilogy, like Thrawn is still a great character when done well.
Yes, agreed.
And we'll be talking about that with Heir to the Empire
I
in
like
about
it.
a
I
month.
think it's a good character, and I'm looking forward to seeing it more.
Um,
Okay.
so yeah, so
Bye.
we will wrap up there, and until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.